everyone.
Hi.
I hate doing these intros.
Hello,
I feel
everyone.
so awkward every time.
Oh my gosh. Claire and I got our first hate comment today.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I don't know if that was really the first one, but it was like the most
It was
outright like hate comment
Yeah.
today.
It was a comment on our YouTube video saying we say like too much, and you know what? If I say like too much, don't listen.
Don't listen. Just turn your ears off. Like I don't know what to say to you, because I swear every person of this day and age says like too much. I'm not trying to be annoying. It's just my filler word. I'm so sorry. And guess what? I only said like 2 times in that entire monologue. So there, bitch.
And the thing is, if I'm too focused on how many times I'm saying my filler words, I'm not gonna come off as natural and slay.
Exactly. You're not gonna slay.
I'm not gonna
The
slay as hard in the So
Exactly.
True podcast.
Exactly. So do you want to slay or do you want less like?
Mm-hmm.
Your choice. Okay.
In this world, there are 2 options.
There are 2 options. Say less like or slay.
Yeah, I also say too much and kind of, and
Everybody has a
Yeah.
filler word. That's the thing is nobody, I mean, there's probably someone, but like most people have a word or a sound that they say when they're thinking, and they fill it in like in the gap. So I'm just like,
unless your brain is going at the speed of light
right?
and you're super intellectual.
Right. People are so annoying.
Yeah.
There's always something that people are going to criticize you on. And I'm like, you know what? Send me a clip of you speaking, little Jimmy.
Little stinky bot 101.
Yeah, a little bot 101. And I'll critique everything about yourself, about
Yeah.
you. So anyway, it's just
So take that.
pretty funny, actually.
I also have another well, not an apology. That was an apology, but I have an apology to make.
Oh no.
My vocal fry was horrendous last episode. The episode that they're gonna hear
I thought you were
tomorrow.
like gonna make like a serious like apology, like you had like said something that was like offensive. I was like, oh no,
You're like,
what
oh
was
my
that?
gosh, Claire
I
canceled.
was like, cancel Claire.
Clue is canceled.
Clue is
2024,
canceled. No,
2023.
weren't you kind of sick though?
I was kind of sick. I've been fighting off like a sickness for like 3 days.
So it's fine.
But, yeah,
It's fine.
it was just really.
slay
Yeah.
queen.
Yeah, I mean, I already vocal fry way too much, and then that was just on steroids. So I feel like but maybe it's just because I'm very conscious of it because I edit it, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't stand myself.
Yeah.
So sorry, Shoddy Bays, if it really bugged you last episode.
If we ever get like a fan base, I want to call them the Shoddy
Me
Base.
too. The So True Shoddy
It's
Bays.
so true, Shoddy Base. Please.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this is coming out on Halloween. Oh my gosh! Happy Halloween.
You should say what your costume was.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so for the past 3 years now, this was the 3rd year I've thrown a Halloween party for my friends and myself, and it's a costume party. And every year, there are 2 types of girls on Halloween, right? There are the girls that like want to be cute, and there are the girls that want to be funny. I always want to be funny. So I've always got like a costume where I look horrendous or am acting horrendous. But this year I was the Wicked Wiener.
Hi, I'm the Wicked Wiener.
Hi, I'm the Wicked Wiener. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google Wicked Wiener video. And it's usually the first thing that comes up. And it was a Vine, and a little boy, like the video is like you hear the doorbell ring, the person holding the camera opens the door, and there's a little boy in a hot dog costume with a witch hat, and he says, hi, I'm the Wicked Wiener. And so that was my costume this year. I was him, he was me. I was the Wicked Wiener.
Really did.
It was so good. I have actually never felt more alive than I did.
You were in
as
your
the-
true form.
Really, like that was my highest evolution. Like, you know, Pokemons have their evolution. That was my like highest one.
Yeah.
I felt really good in that costume, and my catchphrase for the night was, "You've seen long wieners, you've seen small wieners, but have you ever seen a wicked wiener?" And then I said, "Now you have."
Yeah, not until that day did I ever see a wicked wiener.
Not in person, not in the flesh.
My costume for Halloween, I'm doing a group costume with my friends, and we're dressing up as the Ghost Adventures crew. So I'm going as Aaron because Paul met Aaron, and so I feel like I somehow have a connection to him. Also,
Paul is our older brother, by the way. I don't know if
he saw him on like the Vegas Strip. He was walking out a building.
Yeah, on Fremont Street.
Yeah, and then
and at that time we were really into Ghost Adventures.
And he took a picture with Aaron, and he still has it. Yeah. So
Aaron's the tall, bald one, in case you don't know.
He's also the one that gets told to go into places alone by Zach.
Yeah, like the main dude, Zach Bagans, he like always sends Aaron to do like the dirty work. He's like, "Aaron, go into the basement alone, and we're gonna lock you in there.
Go into the haunted asylum by yourself and stay there overnight.
Aaron, we're gonna duct tape you to the wall." like Aaron just gets like the worst tasks. Like,
he does. And then like sometimes Billy's with him, and then Jay's like in the trailer, maybe like editing, like doing computer stuff. So I think one of my friends is going as Zach, and then my other friend, I think she's going as Billy. Maybe, I can't remember.
Amazing costume.
Yeah, I'm gonna be wearing a bald cap. We'll see if I can fit my hair into it.
I freaking love bald caps.
I've never worn one before. I'm actually really excited to see how I look.
I've never worn a bald cap either. That's incredible.
Maybe you should get one.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should just wear it on the podcast next week, just for kicks and gigs.
Wait, what if we did wear a bald cap next?
Sure.
Oh wait, this comes out Halloween. Never mind. I was like, oh my gosh, I should have worn it.
Next year we can be Dr. Phil and like Megamind or something.
Okay, yeah.
I sent Claire a meme like yesterday, I think, and it just said, "Imagine Dr. Phil running at you full speed." I was like, that's actually terrifying.
Get in the range!
You're going
Get in the range! No, Dr. Phil.
No, Dr. Phil. Anyway, yeah, so happy Halloween, you guys, from the Wicked Wiener and Aaron. I hope that you have a spooktastic day. A spooktastic day and an even better night.
Yay!
Yay!
Trick or treat.
Trick or treats.
But yeah, we're doing our second part of Ghost Stories today.
Stories part 2.
Part 2. That's how you say two in Russian.
Oh, nice. I'm pretty sure in like French it's like un, deux. And then
do, re, mi, fa, sol, la,
Tito. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, I can't remember who started last week.
I don't remember either.
So, do you want me to start?
Sure.
Perfect. All right. All of my stories are from Reddit. And they're either in the Paranormal Encounter subreddit or Ghost Stories subreddit.
Same with mine, I think.
Slay. Okay, this user was Irano name. Perfect.
Cool.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you the title because it'll ruin it. So I, a 25-year-old male, used to have this reoccurring dream where I was around 8 years when I was around 8 years old. I would be laying in my bed and a man would be standing in the corner watching me. I would try to scream for help, but no sound would come out. The man was tall, probably about 6 feet, with a pale white face, dark hair, and dark circles around his eyes. I want to insert the sound of Schmidt going like, "A white man?
A white man? No!"
He looked kind of like Charlie Chaplin without the mustache, but with paper white skin, and he would have no emotion on his face.
So me.
Yeah, so Claire just like
so me
without,
at work behind the register.
Yeah, without like her coffee in the morning. No anger, no smile, just a blank face. I would have this dream quite often, sometimes multiple days in a row, and then one day it just stopped and I haven't had the dream ever since. I always chalked it up to sleep paralysis until today. Cue today, I was visiting my dad and we were just shooting the shiz, and the topic of the paranormal came up. I brought up the reoccurring dream, but it is important to know that I did not describe the man in the dream, just that a man would be watching me from the corner. He told me that he used to have a similar dream around the same age where someone would be walking outside his bedroom window watching him. That's when he, unprompted, described exactly the same man to me without telling him what my dream visitor looked like. Every detail was exactly the same. The same man would watch us and we would try to scream, but no sound would come out. Then one day it stopped. It's also important to note that I had never told him about these dreams and he had never told me about his.
Weird,
huh?
I've heard a story on My Favorite Murder where a group of kids who don't even really live in the same town like kept seeing the same like furry man standing over them. So that's weird.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's like why does that ghost like you and your dad?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, who knows?
He wants to be part of the family.
He's like, hey, I'm Timmy.
Take me on a deer hunt, please.
Take me on the deer hunt. It's deer hunt season in Utah, so it's really what our minds are on.
I feel bad. Dad's asked me like 3 times if I want to go hunting, and it's not that I don't, but I don't have any time.
I know. Literally, for the past like month, I've had something going on every single day.
Me
of the
too.
Week. Like I just don't have time. I did go on a horse ride with him last week, which was super fun. But that is like all I could commit to.
I'm like, I'd love to frolic around the woods while you shoot things,
right?
But I'm just in the background.
I'd love to play Bear Grylls.
Yeah, I love Bear Grylls role play.
Right? I would love to do that, but Soup's on Forge. I can't. We're gonna get another hate comment for that one.
Yeah. Soup's and Forge.
Soup's on Forge.
You do it way better than me, the frat boy voice.
If you guys don't know, you have to know. Go follow Clay, and he has another account called not_Clay on TikTok, and he's so funny. He like talks like that. That's where I got Soup's on Forge. He's like, Army's like Soup's on Forge. He's so good. You guys gotta follow him.
Yeah, he's the best.
All right.
This one is by Cerati on Reddit, spelled Cerati.
Slay.
All right.
Actually.
My house was built in 1904. It is a single-family home, a wood frame sitting on a concrete block foundation. I have been living here for about 12 years. Of all the weird things that my siblings and I have seen or heard in this house, this one event is my favorite. This happened to my brother. About 10 years ago, my brother and his best friends had started a garage band playing mostly Spanish rock. Basically alternative music, but in Spanish. His friends... I don't know why that made me laugh.
Sick. I think the concept of a garage band just makes me laugh.
I was imagining like Roderick from...
literally Loaded Diaper.
Yeah. His friends could only get together on Sunday afternoons. They would practice into the early evening, and they would usually call it quits by 8 p.m. This was the time I usually showed up and went to bed, since I worked the graveyard shift. This event happened in late fall, so the days were getting shorter. They had just finished a long session when the decision to head to someone else's house came about. My brother handed his car keys to his buddy so they could load up the equipment. Everyone had filed out of the basement, but the tricky part was that they needed to walk all the way to the back of the basement, up the back stairs, through the kitchen, into the living room, and out onto the front porch. Everyone was outside sitting in my brother's truck waiting for him. My brother was walking up the back stairs when he remembered that he had left his pancakes in a to-go container sitting on a speaker in the basement.
Oh, I forgot my pancakes!
So after my brother walked back downstairs, he was about to retrieve his food container when out of the corner of his eye, he saw it.
No.
It was a shadowy figure right at his peripheral vision, and a feeling of dread and uneasiness washed over him. We had been taught that if you were in the presence of a spirit or a ghost and you felt a bad vibe, to say a quick prayer or to cuss at it. My brother chose the latter. He basically just told it, "Hey, F you, I don't have time for this shit." My brother started to walk briskly up the stairs, closing doors and turning off lights as he was walking out. The last light switch was on the opposite side of the front door. But luckily the door was open and the light from the street lamp was flooding the living room with its amber light. My brother said he felt something at his back, but at no point did he turn around. As he flicked the last switch, the living room and the rest of the house went dark. He stepped out and pulled the door closed behind him. Still holding his food container in one hand, he jogged down the few porch steps and walked towards the front gate. As he closed the gap between himself and his truck, he thought things over in his head, mad at himself for getting spooked when there was no reason. He climbed into the driver's seat of the truck, putting on his seatbelt and getting ready to pull out when one of his friends asked, "Hey, wait, what about your brother? Isn't he coming with us?" My brother answered, "What do you mean? He went to work early tonight. He is already gone." The next question the friend asked, "So then who was walking behind you when you were leaving the house?"
No.
Spooky.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
Spooky.
Get out.
Get out.
Get out of the basement.
Get out. Get out of my basement. All right. My next one, trigger warning. It does mention suicide. So if that is a trigger for you, you might want to skip this. User is dude_McGuyington.
Whoa. That's a powerful
That
username.
is powerful. All right. And this one is titled Haunted Library Visit. Where I grew up, we have a library that is almost as old as the town itself. I loved reading, so I visited it often. Nerd.
You're so stupid.
Who reads? Me with like my Kindle as my prized possession. When I was about 12 years old, I was assigned a history paper in school. We got to pick the topic, and I decided that I wanted to do it on the history of the town itself. It was sometime in late autumn when I went to the library to get some research material. Honestly, the vibes so far, great.
Yeah.
Like, the library in late autumn. Slay.
Like, does she have some coffee with her?
Right? Like, probably.
Him or her.
The library was actually a large 2-story house that was previously owned by one of the town's original prominent families, the Putnams. The first floor was the main library and was where almost all the books were. The second floor was normally off limits because they stored most of their historic documents and antique books up there. You had to get permission from the staff to go upstairs. Since I was a frequent visitor and had proven myself a well-behaved kid, I was given permission to go upstairs to look through those books. I had no preconceived notions about the library, but I felt incredibly uncomfortable while being alone upstairs for some reason. It got colder as I ascended the stairs, which made sense since they didn't heat the second floor with no one up there 90% of the time. The upstairs led to a large room filled with bookcases and 3 small side rooms adjacent to it. There were other rooms, but the rest of the upstairs was roped off from visitors. I began going through the books in the large room trying to find something interesting when from one of the side rooms I heard a loud bang. It sounded like a door being slammed, which was odd since they had removed all the doors to each of the side rooms. At this point, I still felt really uneasy about being upstairs, but I figured there's no reason to be scared. It's just a library. Maybe a shelf on the bookcase gave out. I take a look in the side room and see there is only an old school writing desk with a little plaque that says Mr. Putnam, 1885. The small room is a bit colder, but nothing is out of place. A little confused, I shrug it off and go back to the center room to keep digging through books. After a little while, I finally find a book that covers what I'm looking for and sit down to start reading. I get a few pages into the book and suddenly I hear another very loud bang from one of the other side rooms. It caught me off guard, so it surprised the hell out of me. It sounded like someone threw a brick at the wall. From where I was sitting, I could only see into part of the room, and it looked like it was a nursery or playroom based on the tiny rocking chair and teddy bear next to it. For some reason, I was terrified of going into that room. I did anyways, though, because I am a dumbass. I walked into the room and turned to look in the corner I wasn't able to see from outside. I am frozen in terror as I meet the eyes of a young woman in a plain white dress hanging from the ceiling by her neck. She seemed to see me but was motionless. Her cold dead eyes pierced my soul. I tried to yell, but just couldn't seem to make a sound. Somehow I managed to break free of that horrific gaze and run downstairs and out of the library. I sprinted the 6 blocks home. It wasn't until I told people about what happened that I learned one of the maids that had worked in the house had become pregnant out of wedlock and hung herself in that room. To this day, I'd never go upstairs in that library alone again.
Oh my gosh. That is terrifying.
Scary, right?
Oh, I just imagine like looking up and seeing that.
The banging too, like that it like whatever that presence was like trying to draw you over, to get your attention. Yeah, to like scare you.
Oh, I don't
like
it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Don't like it.
Trigger warning, this one also has suicide. I thought I would just tell this one right next to that one.
Perfect.
So this one is it's by a deleted user. But the title is Bought My First House and Found Out It Was Haunted. That's such a great
How
thing.
awesome. Like you you
awesome.
accomplish this awesome thing. Like you save your money. You get a house, like what everybody wants.
Surprise.
And then
haunted.
it's like haunted. Like what do you do? What do you do?
I guess you just stay there
It
or move
sucks.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
But, okay. I bought my first house in 2003 and was over the moon. Shortly after moving in, 2 of my neighbors began joking with me about the ghost in my house. I thought they were joking, so I just played along pretending I had seen one and that it was no big deal. Well, as time went on that summer, I met more and more of my neighbors, and they all brought up the same topic. Finally, an elderly woman on the block who was quite kind and friendly told me a story after I'd asked her. I knew she wasn't going to screw with my head, which is why I asked in the first place. It turned out the previous owner purchased the home and never lived there because she said it was haunted. Apparently, there were sounds in the night of footsteps and sobbing, and glimpses of a man sitting in the kitchen covered in blood.
Ooh.
One of my neighbors helped with the renovations of the house and said that he was putting up drywall when he felt something lift up his dreadlocks. Though I've had paranormal experiences before, it had been years, and by then I just chalked it up to night terrors. One day I went to a small neighborhood video store to rent a movie. I had to fill out a form with my demographic data and then my credit card info. The owner of the store looked at the form and said, "Oh my gosh, you live in that house." I asked her what she meant, and she explained that her former employee had committed suicide in my house. She came to the house as soon as she'd heard the house had been taped off by police as a potential crime scene. She told me that he had just moved into the house with his partner and called his mom because he wanted to invite her over to meet his partner and come out to her. This was in the early 90s when being gay was a big deal. His mother already knew he was gay because he bought a house with a man and she disowned him right over the phone. That's so terrible. That same week, he received a letter from an HIV testing center stating he had tested positive for HIV. This is when HIV was a death sentence. He then sat at the kitchen table, ate a bowl of cereal, and shot himself in the head with a revolver.
Oh my gosh.
Since then, she has had multiple paranormal experiences in the store, with videos flying off shelves and even levitating off shelves. The most I have experienced is sounds at night, sounds of Cheerios being poured into a bowl, I don't eat cereal, and sounds of sobbing in the kitchen.
Ugh.
I often wake to both. I remember my grandmother saying, "When the dead come to you, they want something. Perform an act of charity in their name and pray for them." So I did. I sat down on the kitchen table one night and lit a candle and told him that each night I would recite a novena prayer for him before I lit a candle. On the 9th night of the first novena, is that how you pronounce it?
I think so.
Novena to St. Anthony, patron saint of lost souls, I heard uncontrollable sobbing. I felt a strong presence of grief and despair and the sound of hyperventilating as though someone could not catch their breath.
Oh, that's actually
terrifying.
Yeah.
I sat in the presence of this knowing it was not malignant, but rather a connection of intimacy and compassion of which he was in need. For 45 days I said a novena prayer before I lit a candle for his soul and had a mass said in his name. A few times I had awakened to feel his presence standing over my bed, but knew it was not a malignant presence. This still happens from time to time, but less and less frequently. That's where it ends.
Oh my god.
That is so terrible.
That's so sad.
You would just feel so heavy in that house all the time.
Yeah,
Like, not just
seriously.
even scared, but like really sad. I can't even
Yeah, that's so
imagine.
sad. Oh my gosh. So sad and so scary. Like,
yeah.
ugh. Man, that is so sad. Dang. All right, my next one is from the user Accomplished Wind 265.
Cool.
So one night, my sister, my mom, dad, and I were all sleeping in one room. I was like 10 or 11. And I randomly woke up around 2 o'clock, and near our bedroom door, I saw my sister towering like 6 feet around the corner and wave.
No, I don't know why that just got
The wave?
me.
The wave?
I don't know why
Like,
the wave.
Hey, like, ew, no.
Like, don't pretend you are my sister.
Like, stop. I call out my sister's name, and my sister wakes up because I called her name more than once and says, "What is it?" I look to my left and see my sister laying next to me on the bed, and I look back at where I saw the thing, and it wasn't there, just gone. I told my sister and parents this, and my sister was the only one to believe me because why the hell would I wake her up in the middle of the night? Probably the most scary thing that's ever happened to me.
That is terrifying.
That's so scary.
That one got me. These
The
last
wave?
couple have not gotten me, and that one just like did
It's
something
just like
to me.
the weirdness of like the wave. It's like when like these paranormal like
It's like
entities
mimics or something
Yeah,
that
when
they're
they do
called.
like these normal like regular things,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just like way creepier.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like when they say like hey or like if they wave, like things that are just like so casual.
Right.
It's just so creepy for some weird reason. Like I don't
I agree.
understand why it's so creepy.
Yeah. Oof. Okay, my next one is called My Grandma's House is Haunted, but We're Not Allowed to Tell Her by Abby Kadabi on Reddit.
Me as a grandma, though.
I'm like, no, you shut up.
Don't say anything. Don't tell me.
Don't speak a word. Okay. My grandma's house has always, for as long as I can remember, been a scary place. My dad and aunt and uncle all grew up in the house and had paranormal experiences occur throughout their lives. One example was when my dad and uncle were teenagers. My uncle was walking down the steps and was swinging a towel as he had just washed his hair, and out of nowhere my dad, who was standing in the living room at the bottom of the stairs, saw the towel straighten out in front of my uncle as if someone pulled it, and my uncle fell forcefully down the stairs.
Oh my gosh.
Now, my grandma hates all things paranormal, especially Ouija boards, and she would often visit gypsies, so it is a big no-no in our family to discuss the paranormal events that occur in her house. 20 years or so ago, my cousins and brothers were playing in the upstairs bedrooms of my grandparents' house. The toys were set up in the room across the hall from them, and they were all in the same bedroom playing a board game. Out of nowhere, a Hot Wheels car, no batteries, no wind-up, just an average Hot Wheels car, slowly exited the room that the toys were in, went across the hall and into the room where they were all sitting.
Oh.
Needless to say, they were all terrified. Another time, around 8 years ago, my oldest brother moved into the basement of their house. One night when he was home alone, he woke up out of a deep sleep, having felt like he was being shaken by someone. He stood up and instantly smelled gas. He went upstairs and outside of the house. Later, he found out there was a carbon monoxide leak, and if he had not woken up, there's a big chance he could have died in his sleep.
Oh?
Months after that, when my grandparents were away for the weekend, the family decided to try the Ghost Radar app in their house. We all sat around that phone, and my uncle asked the normal questions. Is anyone here? Blah, blah, blah. Then he asked, who used to live in the basement? At this point, my brother had moved out. The Ghost Radar replied with my brother's full first name, which no one ever calls him. We were shocked. My uncle then asked, how did you save, in parentheses, my brother? It replied with, wake. What the hell?
Oh.
He then asked, what did you save him from? And it said gas. Needless to say, we were shocked.
Oh my gosh.
The last thing I'm going to talk about that happens in the house is my grandparents' friend's obituary, who passed away probably 15 years ago, will show up in their kitchen every month or so. They usually say hello to their friend and put the obituary back in the basement where it is supposed to stay. But a little while later, it will show back up in the kitchen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But like, I want to know, like, what is their friend trying to tell them? The what? Because like, it's probably the spirit of the friend whose obituary it is. Like,
maybe
what?
it's all the same. Oh.
Like, what is he trying? What is this friend trying to tell them? Like, why does the spirit keep putting the obituary up there on the?
Maybe just so that they don't forget about them.
Maybe.
Like maybe they're just like,
Maybe
I need some attention.
Yeah, maybe they just like attention, like me.
It's so funny.
That's kind of. Oh
They're
my
like, hey,
gosh!
look at my obituary. I died.
Look, I'm still here.
Please don't forget about me.
Gone but not forgotten.
Yeah. That's what it kind of sounded like to me.
Yeah, maybe that's
Anyway.
true. That's crazy. The hair on my arms literally like rose when they did the like censored. It was like,
Yeah.
where'd you save them from? It was gas. I'm like, hello. All right, this one I actually got for last week, but I didn't end up reading it last week. So
Oh, sweet.
anyway, this one is from the user Automatic Airline 126. My dad called me and immediately my stomach dropped. He told me that my grandpa had passed away. Immediately I felt my grandfather's presence and I felt something brush my cheek. He was kissing me goodbye, or so I thought. My grandpa's ghost stayed in my home for 5 days after he had passed away. On the last night that his spirit was in my home, I woke up at around 1 a.m. and looked down to the foot of my bed where I saw a shadow figure standing, staring down at me. I wasn't scared, but as soon as I saw it, the shadow figure crouched down and crawled to the other side of the room using its hands and feet.
No.
This is where I'm like, I don't
Grandpa.
necessarily agree with this person. I know it was my grandpa.
No.
I said to
Why
him,
is your grandpa crawling on the floor?
that's what I was saying. Like, why would your grandpa's spirit
Hey, boy.
crawl down? Like, what? I said to him, Grandpa, it's time to go home. I love you, but you can't be here. And then I never saw him again. I felt his peace that night. I believe that he was wanting to be with me because I had just rekindled our relationship and was calling him every weekend to check in. And so I'm sure he wasn't feeling like letting that go yet. He unfortunately died of shingles. The shingles caused him to lose his balance and he died from a fall on his way to the bathroom. I hope he is with my grandma and they are at peace together.
Maybe that's why he was crawling.
Maybe. He was like, this is what I should have done. I was like, when I read that the first time, I was like, why is Grandpa crawling?
I don't know why.
Like, why?
I don't know why that image is getting to me.
Like, he waited for her to wake up.
Yeah.
See him standing
Hey,
there, and then he was like, slowly, like, crouches down, and then just starts crawling.
He just starts spinning on his head. Like he's from Magic Mike. Hey, look at this.
He watched this. I stayed around to show you this.
I would do that to you and Paul if I died. I'd come back and just start spinning on my head.
You're like, oh my god.
I couldn't do this while I was alive, but now I
It's
can.
like she always wanted to do that in life. I was just like, I'm like, I don't know if that one was your grandpa. Like, I don't know if Crawly shadow figure was grandpa.
Yeah.
I think that might have been a scary shadow figure that was like just like jumping on an opportunity.
Yeah.
Where he saw one.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway,
That's so
I don't know why that
that
killed
one just
me.
got me. I'm
it was
giggly
like
today.
scary but like hilarious at the same time.
Okay. This one's by Excellent-Reach 6641. My grandfather told me this story about how one time he was sitting in a chair in front of the house when he heard his wife repeatedly calling him from inside the house. The thing is, my grandmother passed away a few years before that, but he told me that the voice was so pressing that he got up to look inside the house, and as soon as he got inside, he heard a loud crash behind him and turned around to see that the chair he had been sitting in for moments ago had been crushed by the cast iron gutter that fell on it. If he hadn't come inside the house, he would have probably been seriously injured. I don't know if it's paranormal or not, but every time I think about it, it sends chills down my spine.
Dude, that was just
That was like his wife looking out
she
for
was
him.
just like, it's not your time to go. You gotta like move.
She's like, that gutter's gonna fall on you. Get in
you
here.
gotta move.
Honestly, good on
George.
him for like actually listening too.
Right?
He's like, my wife's dead, but like he's still like went up and
Right?
like I don't know.
Yeah.
This is kind of fresh.
That is kind of fresh. I love like those stories of like spirits of like
Yeah,
loved
like
ones
watching
like
over
saving you. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, this is my last one.
Okay.
And it is by the user Significant Muffin 12. And the title is Out of the Back Room. I moved out of my mom's when I was 16. I found out I was pregnant and thought I was grown. Fast forward a few years, and lo and behold, reality slapped me just as it does any young parent, and after some trials and tribulations, found myself back home with mom at the age of 19. I'll preface this with, the apartment my mother lived in was a nursing home converted into 6 apartments, 3 on the first floor, 2 on the second, and my mother's apartment being the only one on the third. We always heard things, footsteps coming up the long staircase leading to my mother's door, never anyone there. The back door was a huge fire door, banged when it shut, very distinctive sound. We would hear steps, hear the door open and close, and expect someone. There was never anyone there. When you walked through the back door, it was a short hallway, 2 doors to the left, bedrooms, and 1 doorway ahead, kitchen. My bed was positioned to face my bedroom doorway. My mother worked overnights. She's a nurse, so it was always my 2 going on 3-year-old son and I, always home alone at night. I can't explain the feeling I got walking past the first of the 2 doors to the left, but I just couldn't walk past it. I ran. Every time, I just ran. My first experience ever in the apartment is my scariest one to date, from when I was younger to now being in my 30s. One night, I'm laying in bed. I'm on the phone very late. It was maybe 1 to 2 a.m., and as I'm laying just talking, I heard a pitter-patter across the short hallway and a short, toddler-sized shadow run across my doorway. I saw the shadow clearly. It had shape, it had mass, it was solid. I immediately yell out to my son, "Hey, what are you doing up? Come here." No response. So again, him being little and me knowing his games, I call it to him again. "Hey, bub, come here and lay with mama." Then it hit me. He wouldn't be in that part of the apartment. That came from the corner bedroom. He was sleeping on the couch.
Oh.
I got up as quickly as I think I ever had and ran through the kitchen and into the living room. There he was, my toddler, sleeping on the couch. I scooped him up and hightailed it to my room. I shut the door behind me, lock it, and crash. Something hit the kitchen floor and sounded like it shattered. I did not leave my room all night. Eventually, early hours hit, and I finally fell asleep with my babe in the bed with me.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And the crash too right after.
You're
I would be,
right?
oh,
I know.
You, no
the, like,
little
little
kid, go
shadow,
away.
like,
Go away.
ooh.
Stupid baby.
Stupid
Baby.
baby. Stupid baby.
I'm gonna punch you. I don't care if you're a little 3-year-old. You're a ghost.
You're a ghost 3-year-old.
I'm gonna fight you.
So anyway.
Right. I have a few more. Okay. This one is by Annalise, but so it's spelled ENNALYSSE on Reddit. Perfect. I've had quite a few experiences, but these two are my favorites. This first one happened when I was 11. I was staying at my dad's house during the summer. It was about 4:30 a.m., so everyone else in the house was asleep. I needed to use the bathroom, but the bathroom was at the end of a really scary dark hall, so I didn't want to. I eventually got up, though, and as I was using the bathroom, someone suddenly knocked 3 times on the bathroom door. Then a few seconds later, I heard a little girl's voice, probably around 3 to 4 years old, singing some sort of lullaby on the other side of the door.
No.
I, of course, was terrified because no one else was awake. I finished using the bathroom and then ran back to my room. I felt like I was being watched back in my room, so I put on a YouTube video to try and distract myself. But then a guy in the YouTube video said hi, and I heard the same little girl's voice whisper, "Hello," in my ear.
No.
I'm killing myself in
No. Like, why are you being a menace, little girl?
These little kids, I want to fight them.
Like, why are you, like, don't whisper in my ear.
No, like, leave me alone.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper.
Well, and, like, she's in the bathroom, and, like, someone's, like, knocking on the door and singing creepily. I'm like, I'm trying to pee. Can you, like... Gosh.
Like, hello? That's not okay.
Yeah.
Occupado.
What?
Like, occupied.
Oh.
Occupado.
Gosh. I have such a bad rep when it comes to Spanish on this podcast.
Is that Spanish? Is occupado Spanish?
I'm like, it might be the easiest other language to learn. I'm like trying to pronounce La Llorona 5 times. Ugh, okay.
That's terrifying.
This is her second one. She says, now on to the next one. This one happened a couple years ago when I was 14. It was late at night and I was laying down to try and sleep. I had LED lights up on my wall that I was facing. I need to add that I had my LED lights taped to the wall because they were always falling, so I know what them just falling looks like. Anyway, I was watching the LED lights when out of nowhere I watched them get literally ripped off of my wall.
Oh my gosh.
I was scared and tired though, so I just closed my eyes and forced myself to sleep. Later that night, I woke up to my blanket halfway under my bed. I didn't think anything of it at first because I slept at the edge of my bed and woke up daily to my blanket on the floor, so I thought it was just from me moving in my sleep. Until I went to grab it. I tried pulling my blanket back up onto my bed, but I could feel something else at the end of it trying to pull it away from me.
No.
I like to joke that I was playing tug of war with a demon. But again, I was way too terrified to do anything, so I just pulled on it until I got it and then moved to the middle of my bed. I put my blanket over my head and went back to sleep. My family on my dad's side is all very connected. I don't know if that's the right word, to the paranormal world, and I have a feeling that whatever pulled my blanket is the spirit that's been attached to me for quite some time now. Nothing has ever actually hurt me, so there's no need to reply saying I've got a real demon on my hands. I don't think whoever or whatever it is evil. That's the end.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Literally everyone's number one fear confirmed. You
Yeah.
know, like how like your feet sticking out of your
Yes.
blanket at night.
Yes.
You're like something's gonna get me if my feet are sticking out. It's like as long as I'm tucked into my blankie, I'm fine. Literally confirmed.
Like, no bitch, I'm gonna pull your
I'm gonna
security
pull
blanket.
your blanket under the bed, and I'll pull you under the bed with it.
No.
I'm like, I'm so scared. Also, when people are like, I was so scared, but I just forced myself to go to sleep. I was like, bitch, how?
But also, I'm like,
How?
maybe I would be like that, where I'm just gonna pull it and pretend nothing happened.
I'm like, yeah, like what? I guess I don't know. Like, what do you do? in
Yeah,
that
I don't know.
John Quinones.
John Quinones, come on.
I need you here to tell me so I can figure out what I would do.
What would you do but paranormal edition?
Literally, I was just like, that's so scary. Also, like, you're like laying in bed and you just like watch like your LED lights
Like
just like
this-
forcefully get ripped
Yeah.
from like your wall. You're like, there's no way like that didn't just fall. That was like literally ripped off.
It sounds like the ghost is like trying to like wake her up and be like, party's over, like tearing off her blanket and her lights. It's like, no.
Honestly, what's this ghost's issue?
Yeah,
like, why are they like just trying to kill the vibe?
Right. Why are you being such a buzzkill?
Like, rude.
Gosh.
Honestly.
Anyway. Okay, this one is by routine-pair-2328 on Reddit. My ghost stories My ghost stories started when I first moved to Colorado. My first house here, I had slept in the basement. I was about 5 years old. I'm like, that's kind of a little a bit young to be sleeping by yourself.
Yeah,
okay.
I feel like most parents wouldn't put their 5-year-old in the basement.
Hey kid, get in the basement.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I remember I would end up in my parents' bed almost every night because I would see this dark figure hanging on a support beam just watching me every night.
No.
I would also see my great-grandfather who had passed away. My parents thought I was crazy and made me go to therapy. So fast forward about 6 to 7 years. In all actuality, I had completely forgotten that I had even had this experience until one day I was home alone. I'm about 12 now, and there was an app I was playing with called Video Star. We played with that too.
Video Star. That app rocked.
It rocked. For those of you who have not heard of this, it's basically TikTok or Musical.ly before those were a thing. My sister ended up getting home as I was making them and doing what all sisters do. She was making fun of me. She decided to further it by taking my phone and going through all of the videos and continuing to make fun. However, she got to this one video where it has a strobe light effect, so the screen would go black and then to me rapidly.
Oh no.
She screamed and said, "What the F is that behind you?"
Huh?
Hanging upside down off of my kitchen's/breakfast bar ceiling, you see a black figure watching me and then fly down. My siblings and I must have watched that video a million times.
No!
I've thought of it all and heard it all. What if it was just the effect of the video? Or you edited that yourself? And honest to God, I wish that was the truth. This has haunted me since it's happened. The only way I could describe the spirit is a man with no face, but almost like a beak and a cape.
Ooh.
I still to this day get asked from people who have seen it. My eldest sister who lives in another state, old middle school friends. The video has vanished. I'm not sure if iCloud was really a thing back then, but I sent that video through Facebook Messenger to my eldest sister along with photos, and they are all gone. So they just mysteriously disappeared.
Okay, number one, I get like maybe later she could have edited it. Like, keep in mind, she's 12.
Yeah.
So like, what 12-year-old is like really fluent in like
editing that,
number one.
And she didn't even notice it. It was her sister who was like, what is that?
Number two, you couldn't edit something like that on Video Star.
No.
Like,
yeah, they have like preset effects.
Yeah,
that
like
you can
there's
use.
no
way. You can't like Photoshop it into it.
And also, why would Video Star have that effect? Like, why?
why?
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
That's so scary.
That's so scary.
My friend, she has this picture of her like sending a streak to someone.
Yeah.
And you can see behind her this silhouette of a shadowy figure. And
oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she's like lived in really haunted houses, and I'm like, how?
So scary. I want to literally die.
I can't.
I hate that.
Okay, this will be my last one. Or actually, I'm like, do I want to end on this one?
How many more do you have?
I have 2 more, and they're really short.
Just do both.
Okay. This one is by competitive-ad-8646 on Reddit. My mom used to work the night shift at a hospital before she retired. Years ago, she had a terrifying experience that she recently told me about. During one of her shifts, she had an elderly patient that was in the ICU getting ready to pass. Oftentimes, my mom would sit and visit with her patients during her downtime. The woman was crying, so my mom held her hand and asked what was wrong. While still crying, the woman said that he was here for her. She said that he was evil when he was alive, and he's still just as evil now.
Oh, no.
Confused, my mom asked if the lady was talking about her husband. The woman told my mother her dead husband made her life a living hell, and now, on her deathbed, had been in her room for days tormenting her. He told her he was there to take her. She said he had been standing in the corner of the room since she was admitted into the ICU.
Oh my gosh.
My mother offered to pray with the woman, which she accepted. The woman eventually passed, but had told my mom before she went that she no longer saw her husband and she was able to go in peace.
Oh, good.
I was like, oh, no.
No.
I was like,
you stay away, you creepy man.
You man, I'm going to beat you.
Like, not, like, you don't get to be, like, this.
You don't get to torment her after.
You don't get to be a terrorist in her life, like, in the living realm, and then torment her and
even afterwards.
No, that's when you call upon the name of Jesus Christ, and you say, come and get me, because I ain't going with this fool, and Jesus will come right down. He say, you go away, and he'll take you with him.
Exactly.
That poor lady. That makes me literally so
like you're
sad.
Literally about to die, and you're just getting like, you're just freaked out for like your last moments.
Yeah, like what?
But I'm glad that she was like at peace. Like it sounded like in her final moment, she was like, okay, I think I'm good.
Honestly, should have been addressed in the Barbie movie. I saw this thing, this girl like shared, she was like, anything like that, like surrounding men or whatever. So like her phrase is like, should have been addressed in the Barbie movie. Like anyway, it's just funny. But yeah, no, that's freaking crazy.
Okay. This final one is by Breath Like Death Like.
Oh no.
You brush your teeth then.
I hope I don't have breath like death.
Same. Okay. And they said that they have two, which they'll post separately, but I just put it together.
Oh, okay.
So their first one is this. My parents divorced when I was incredibly young, around 2 years old. Eventually, I moved out west to be with my dad and brother. I flew back to Ohio every summer to visit my mom. As a somewhat moody teenager, I used to love visiting old cemeteries. I especially liked this one in Cleveland. Okay, Elena Gilbert.
I was literally going to say that. I was literally going to say, Elena Gilbert. Please.
Okay. President McKinley is buried there. Side note, his mausoleum is incredible. So during one of those visits in 1994, I brought my mom and little half-brother, who was a toddler at the time. We were just driving around, checking out all the cool old headstones. It was a nice summer day, so the windows were rolled down. My little brother was in the back seat. All of a sudden, he started giggling. At first, I just assumed he was being a silly little toddler and didn't pay it much mind. Then the giggling got more intense, and I looked back at him, and he was trying to stick his arm at the window, pointing at something. My mom asked him what he was looking at, and he said, "Look at the people dancing." I was so creeped out. To this day, the three of us look back at this and laugh. He doesn't really remember it since he was so young, but me and my mom certainly do.
What the heck?
And then here's their other one. This one happened much, much later. Around 2011, my wife at the time and I moved back to the city we had met and where her parents were living. We had just spent around 6 years living in San Francisco and had 2 small children. We were renting a house in the suburban Phoenix area. The first few months were fine, nothing notable. Around 3 to 4 afterwards, though, some seriously creepy stuff started happening. I'm guessing they mean around 3 to 4 years afterwards, but anyway.
They said the first couple months. So
around 3 to 4 months. Oh, okay.
After? Okay.
Okay, got it. Stuff started happening. First, my daughter, 3 at the time, came running into our room screaming about how the wolf man was at her window trying to come inside.
No.
I didn't really pay much mind, knowing how little kids can have an overactive imagination. But then, my ex-wife and I started noticing things too. We'd hear weird noises coming from the air ducts, almost like a biblical choir-style singing/humming.
Ooh.
Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a man wearing a fedora hat standing in front of my closet in my room.
Ooh.
She said she saw something similar too, from what I remember. But here's where it gets even weirder. Her mom, super conservative and evangelical, told us she had a golfing friend who was super hippy-dippy and could do readings of our house. So I contacted this lady over email and asked if she'd do this for us. She explained the process, which involved us drawing a map of our house and giving it to my then mother-in-law. But she insisted that I not tell her where I had seen or heard anything, just that I give her the map.
Oh.
I drew a rough sketch and gave it to my mother-in-law. So to reiterate, this lady had no idea where we had experienced anything. Also, she refused to take any money for this. She just wanted to help us. My mother-in-law swore she didn't tell this lady any specifics, and she is not a person who lies. Very goody two-shoes. Fast forward a week or so later, I get an email from her with her results. She said she saw presents in my bedroom by the closet door. She said he may have been dressed in old-fashioned clothing, remember the fedora, and that he was effectively my guardian angel.
Oh.
She didn't use that term, but something very similar. Basically, he was there to protect me specifically, and that he was not malevolent at all.
Oh, slay.
Slay, okay, cool.
He's just got like a 1920s mobster guardian
Yeah,
angel.
he's
It's
like,
just
don't worry, I got you.
Honestly, it feels so safe.
I know, Sam, I'm like, I want one of those.
Give me one of those.
Shortly after, I stopped detecting his presence. During this time, I was going through some personal problems that I was going to great lengths to hide from everyone. At one point, I don't remember if it was just before or after the reading, I was entering the house after work and saw what I can only describe as something that looked like a fleet of angels flying into the house from the sky.
Oh.
Very vague and ethereal looking. It's not like they were in physical form. I tend to give that less weight than the reading, but who knows. I deleted that email from her because it freaked me out so much. I now wish I had kept it. For the record, I am agnostic, depending on what day of the week you ask. Damn.
Dang.
That's
kind of crazy.
That is crazy. Like, maybe he
you're
just
like-
flew away. He didn't need to guard you anymore or something.
or maybe he just like did like he realized he like freaked you out, so he just like
Oh, yeah.
didn't make his
Like, oh,
presence
sorry.
known. He's
Sorry.
like, oh, sorry.
I
Yeah,
wish I could do a Italian mobster voice, but I
Same.
can't really do it.
I can't really
Hey,
do it
Tony.
either. I can't really either. Hey, Tony. Yeah, I can't do it. That's crazy though.
Yeah.
But I felt a lot better when she said it was like a guardian angel.
Yeah, I was like,
type thing.
okay.
I was like,
We
oh,
chilling now.
he's just like cool. He's just
Yeah.
hanging out. Like he's hanging out. He might.
Don't know
like-
about the wolf man.
Yeah, the wolf man. You leave that baby girl alone.
Yeah, I'm
wolf man.
Yeah, that's a no from me.
No from me too.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun.
That was really fun. A lot of good
A lot
batch.
of good stories. Oh my gosh, I'm sad.
I know.
Spooky season is over.
It went by so
So fast.
Like,
Yeah, so fast. I cannot believe that we're like in November now, and then it's like November, December. We're done.
I know.
2023 is over.
It has been an insane year. I want to do an
Seriously.
episode where we like maybe review the year, do something for the new year.
Year in review.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be cool.
Because
To brainstorm that.
shit got wild in 2023 for me. Little baby
Same.
did a lot of growing up.
Yeah, little baby did do a lot of growing up. Baby's first year. Oh my gosh. All right, guys.
All
Well,
right.
we will catch you next Tuesday. Thanks so much for listening. And we'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.